The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the set of my show, The Right Side. Today, a special edition of the program with a young man who I want you to meet, Daniel Keith Austin. Daniel is on the autism spectrum because of a series of vaccines that he and his siblings received when they were children. You'll hear a story that is inspirational and that I think applies to everyone. A story of hope, of overcoming, and ultimately of fulfilling the meaning of life, how we enter into the lives of other people and make differences for the better. And Daniel Keith Austin is doing just that. Here's my interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side. Doug Billings here. A special edition of the program today. A friend and a guest, Daniel Austin, with us. Daniel, welcome to the program.
Hi, Doug. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been a long time. We've tried to do this, and I just get so carried away and busy. I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, we have tried to get Daniel on this show for a long time, and finally I've gotten it done. And Daniel, I want you, so this is important for me because I know your story. I also know, in light of what the Secretary of Health and Human Services has done, Bobby Kennedy Jr., with regards to autism and so forth, you have an autism story. And although not the same thing, I have a son who has Down syndrome, not related, but I have a special place in my heart for people who have this story, and I want you to kind of begin there, if you don't mind. Tell us your autism story, Daniel.
Okay. Well, if you're new with me, my name is Daniel Keith Austin. I'm a children's book author, autism advocate with autism, and go-getting digital entrepreneur who's sick and tired of life holding him back. So, beginning with my autism story, my family story is one of the clearest examples I've ever seen of what vaccine injury looks like in real life. All four of us siblings are on the autism spectrum, and all four of us were vaccine injured. And we know that because we were genetically tested by a doctor, and there was nothing on my mom's side or my dad's side that even mimicked autism or any mental illness. But we were tested for heavy metal toxicity, and that was off the charts. And it's not anything like silver fillings. We've never had a single cavity in our childhoods, ever. My youngest brother, Jeremy, his case is the most severe and the most heartbreaking. He was already nonverbal and struggling with self-injurious behaviors as a child, like biting his arms every day, multiple times a day. When he was 13, his doctor insisted that he needed another shot to stay enrolled in school, and my mother was told it was mercury-free and thimerosal-free. And within days of that shot, Jeremy's behavior completely fell apart. He went from being hard to manage to being aggressive and dangerous towards others. He started having grand mal seizures for the first time in his life, often multiple times a week. He became a danger not just to himself, but to others. That one shot destroyed what little progress he made. And later, the doctor admitted that there may still have been traces of thimerosal in the shot. There's no regulation of how much is in a trace. And she even told my mother, I'm convinced Jeremy got a full dose of thimerosal. And that's why I wrote Chelsea and Benjamin, which is going to be Chelsea, the Golden Retriever, book number 3 in my children's book series. Benjamin is the fictional version of Jeremy, and the book introduces a man with severe autism who meets Chelsea as a puppy, and it changes both of them. That moment becomes the spark that sets Chelsea on her journey to becoming a therapy dog. And this story isn't just fiction, it's healing, it's legacy. It's my way of honoring Jeremy and helping other children understand, accept, and love kids who are different. That book is coming soon, and I can't wait to share it with the world.
Wow, Daniel, and I'm holding it up here. Chelsea's New Beginning. Is this your first book, right?
Yes, it is the first book in my children's book series, and I have it with me right here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and I was thumbing through this. Is Chelsea a real golden retriever that you have or had?
She was a real golden retriever I had in my childhood, and sadly, she was not with us long. She passed away at the age of 3 years old. The story Chelsea's New Beginning itself is totally fictionalized, but I based the Chelsea character on my real golden retriever, Chelsea, because I think Chelsea deserved a at least a universe, even if it's a fictional one, where she lived a full, happy life and impacted the lives of um, thousands of people, thousands of animals.
Wonderful. Well, I had a golden retriever when I was a boy, the smartest animal I've ever seen or known. I have a yellow lab named Jet today, who's actually a service dog for my son Michael. Michael doesn't need a service dog, but we were at a conference once, and a man who raises these animals, just as many people do, fell in love with my son Michael and gifted him this dog for Christmas a few years ago.
That
So
is
I
amazing.
know what you mean, how special these animals are. Now, with regards to your advocacy, and when you heard, Bobby Kennedy and Tylenol and the dangers of it and so forth, was you didn't mention Tylenol in your story, but do you take that kind of thing seriously? Is that a real story? Is that real for you in your world, whether it's your life or other people that you know?
Well, I do believe it's something that doesn't get talked about enough, about how other common medical practices can interact with vaccine ingredients to make harm worse. Um, acetaminophen, hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Acetaminophen. Yes, that's
Yes.
that's a tough one. Yeah,
Yeah. In Tylenol, yeah, that and Tylenol can temporarily weaken the blood-brain barrier and blunt immune responses. And when you pair that with a mercury-containing preservative like thimerosal, you get what I consider a dangerous one-two punch. And this is not abstract for me, it's personal. My family was harmed by vaccine-related toxicity, and the idea that other routine treatments could be priming infants for worse outcomes is absolutely terrifying.
it
One
is.
concrete example people rarely mention: newborn boys are often given Tylenol around circumcision. That practice deserves scrutiny because if you are priming a baby's system at the same time you're exposing them to potentially neurotoxic substances, that's something parents and doctors need to know about and debate openly.
What was the vaccine that you were given? Was it one or was it a series of them that caused you and your siblings to become part of the autism spectrum?
I don't think you can pin it down to one specific vaccine. I know that because I was brought up in the Air Force for the first 7 years of my life, my parents followed the vaccine schedule on that to a T.
Yeah, yeah, and I know what you mean. I came from the healthcare industry prior to 2020, when the COVID nonsense started. I was on the same protocols, and I have never been an anti-vaxxer. I'm still not. However, I do want precautionary measures put in place, and I do think when I look at the image of a newborn baby in 1962, the year I was born, when we got 5 vaccines, compared to what they get today when there's needles everywhere on that poor infant outline, it's absolutely mind blowing that we allow this to happen, in my opinion.
It's absolutely mind blowing, and it's very subtle. They subtly kept adding new vaccines to the schedule every year. I think by the time uh, my mother got married to my father, um, it was 1985. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but um, she said throughout her childhood, the most vaccines she ever probably got was like 8. But now we're looking at 60, 70, 80, 90 shots
Yeah.
in the childhood vaccine schedule now. My my sister was born in 1986. I was born in 1988, and 1986 was the same year Ronald Reagan signed the bill into law, the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, um, to remove liability from vaccine manufacturers. And my brothers, because they were born in 1990 and 1991, they got the worst of it because that's when they really started adding vaccines to the schedule. My brother Joshua, uh, he uh, he can speak, but he cannot function. He's not high functioning like I am. He's moderately autistic. He has to he has trouble separating fantasy from reality. He cannot drive. He has to be supervised um on the job he's able to have, and he needs ongoing care and supervision for the rest of his life. And you already heard about my brother Jeremy. He has the absolute worst of it out of all four of us.
Yes. How I want to get to the medical side of this in a moment, but how are you how your mom and dad, they must be saints. How are they doing, and how have they managed through this?
Well, my dad, unfortunately, is not on the same page with my mother or us um, when it comes to vaccines and how they're related to autism. It's um, it's actually a pretty interesting story. I don't want to get off track here, but uh, he's not
So
on the same page.
not on the same page, but your mom is an advocate like you for this.
Yes, so what she's done is she's had Jeremy and Joshua go through protocols to help heal them, and it's been a long road. They've seen some improvement. It's still hard to tell whether or not they will ever see any semblance of a normal life. To the best of my the last time I saw Jeremy, I still haven't heard him speak. Um, or anything. So,
What okay, so and I want to talk about your books and so forth in a moment. The What's important for people to know, and not a lot of people know about this thing called the blood-brain barrier, that is the unique creation that God gave us in our bodies that protects our brains, and how the ingredients of some of these vaccines, if not all of them, enable um, really bad stuff to get through the blood-brain barrier. And that's in essence, and very simply put, obviously, that's what happened to you. Is the mercury gets through the brain barrier. Is that correct?
in my experience, I would say that is what happened. I remember growing up and um, being very more overly stimulated by my environment than most kids would be. Um, and I had a learning disability, had trouble sitting still, had trouble concentrating in classrooms. I needed a paraprofessional sitting next to me from like third grade to seventh grade. Um, um, I struggle with mental processing and reaction time. Like, if someone were to say something to me, and I asked them to repeat themselves, it's not necessarily that I didn't hear them. I I'm not deaf or hard of hearing. It's a mental processing thing, and I've also run into the same problem when employed at jobs where I would be working at what I consider to be a normal pace, but I have managers and supervisors telling me I'm being too slow. And that's led to a lot of challenges in the way I'm trying to survive, pay my bills, and ultimately build my empire my of what I want to be my children's books. I also want to open up my own community theater and my own movie studio. I'm also an actor.
Wonderful. I just want to, I can't, that's just such a good inspirational story. Okay, so let's talk about the book empire. Let's talk about what you have in mind, what you've done, and what you're planning to do with regards to your books.
Well, one of my proudest projects is my children's book, my first children's book, Chelsea's New Beginning. It is available now on Amazon. You can also find it by going to my author's website, danielkeithaustin.com, buy the book, and it links directly to the Amazon listing. And the book tells the story of a golden retriever named Chelsea who gets adopted by a new family after being surrounded by her previous owners. It's a story about second chances, trust, and learning to feel safe again. And the whole series is going to be her life story. And one of her major character arcs is becoming a therapy dog. I also announced on Children's Health Defense 2 months ago that I'm making a prequel series to Chelsea the Golden Retriever because so much is being done for the topic of autism and vaccines and big pharma. I am so Nathan in Chelsea's New Beginning is the man who adopts Chelsea, and he's the one who has the brother Benjamin, who is severely autistic, who is the fictional version of my brother Jeremy. In my prequel series, you will see his childhood as an autistic child in that series, Nathan's Universe.
Okay.
So
Excellent. Well, and has this led to you speaking in front of groups? Are you an advocate that where you're sought after to go and deliver messages of hope and second chances and so forth to others?
that's what I did in front of Children's Health Defense. I am working towards getting my name out there because people need to know my story. Um,
Right.
I my it wasn't just me that was robbed of the life I was supposed to have. It was also my older sister and more importantly, my two younger brothers.
And it's just the four of you.
It's just the four of us. My mother remarried. She had two more children. None of them are vaccinated, and they are both healthy and normal.
Wonderful. Okay. And where can we find you? You gave us your website, davidkeithaustin.com.
Daniel Keith Austin.
Daniel, of course, danielkeithaustin.com. And what else? Any social media presence we should know about?
So you can find Chelsea the Golden Retriever on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And for me, I have my own Rumble channel, Daniel Keith Austin Author, and I am also doing something really, really important for learning how to obtain financial freedom. And this is something everyone should look into. Um, I have a I have a digital marketing business. My link is called ironpawdigital.com. You can get your financial freedom and your time back with the Legacy Builders program. You'd enter your name and email, watch the video from our founder, Michelle, on the next page. Um, and you can join my school community, SKOOL, for neurodivergent connection and financial freedom. I have 42 free spots left. After we reach 50 members, the next 50 will enjoy a reduced rate of $27 a month before it goes up to $57 monthly after 100 members. So that is the Neurodivergent Freedom Network on the school app, SKOOL.
Wonderful. And we'll have all of that information up on the screen and in the links below, ladies and gentlemen, that you can find, that information. And I think as I look through this book, Daniel, and as I hear you talk about yourself and about how you want to do well, and your motivation for your siblings, the inspiration of your mother, I'm just thoroughly impressed. And I'm so grateful that I was able to meet you in person and on a couple of occasions. And so I'm glad that we're finally able to get together and hear your story.
Yes, I'm very happy about this too. Thank you, Doug.
You're so welcome. We will spread the word. Ladies and gentlemen, please reach out and look Daniel up, danielkeithaustin.com. We'll have other information on the screen for you to take advantage of. The example of a young man fighting to make a difference and make the world better. And Daniel, before we go, you're an actor and you want to start a community theater.
Yes.
In the last 2 minutes that we have left, tell me about that dream.
Well, so I've always loved telling stories. My sister and I used to pretend we were in movies with our favorite characters in the movies we were watching. And we discovered later that it's because we wanted to act ourselves. And that's actually been a really long, difficult road. So my vision to start my theater is to give not only myself the space to finally have my have a place to really tell stories on stage, but also to help other people who've had trouble getting there as well. Because the entertainment industry, even around here in Johnson County, it's very competitive and it's been a really trying road. And it's also been tough to be able to afford the training on my own. And I also want to talk about my movie studio. Um, I've always loved movies. I've always wanted to make movies, and it's been a really tough road getting there. And you know what? Hollywood is just so corrupt, and I wouldn't recommend anyone go to Hollywood at this point now. So my vision is to create jobs for people in the entertainment industry right here in Kansas so that they don't have to go through Hollywood to do it.
Wonderful. Well, Daniel, you're an inspiration, making your own dreams come true and helping other people do the same thing. In my view, that's the meaning of life. That's why we're here, and you're doing it. You're entering into the lives of other people to make differences for the better. You're an inspiration to me, and I'm sure everyone watching. Thanks for having time with us today. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, The Right Side with Doug Billings with our friend and author, Daniel Keith Austin. Please remember to pick up his book and look at his website, danielkeithaustin.com, for all sorts of other information. God bless you. We're in this together, ladies and gentlemen, for the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.